Welcome to Lecture 1. This is the video on building maps, scorecard, and dashboards. And this is a building dashboards kind of class, and you will be doing quite a bit of that towards the end of the semester. But you need to learn the basics before you do that. It's easy to just kind of go through and start doing things with this and not really consider what you should be working on. So let's go through and talk about some of this The creating dashboards for this. A dashboard is a device that is an aid in decision making, much as like the dashboard on your car. The dashboard can be used to give you an indication of the speed. Can give you an indication of if you have a GPS of where you've been, can give you an indication of many other areas that you need to take your oil pressure, your temperature, and stuff like that. And that's exactly what a dashboard does for when you're building this for a client. You're building this to give him or her an indication of how the company's doing, whether it's a bottom line or whether it's production or whatever else you're going to do. You need to learn the purpose of a dashboard. Why in the world are you doing a dashboard? Not just to the fact of, well, I do a dashboard because I was told to. Find out what the customer wants to measure. You must have metrics that you're able to measure in here and find out that. What will the dashboard do to help the customer? And sometimes the customer wants something and they need something else, and your job is to really help them understand the difference between the two. I certainly would tell the customer, I wouldn't argue with the customer, but I would talk about something measurable. Can you measure employee satisfaction? Can you measure employee workload and their determination and stuff like that? That's pretty hard to do. So be thinking of what you want to do. What does a user want to see? Make sure it's nice and visual. You do not want a lot of verbiage on a dashboard. You want pictures. You want measure devices that would measure, like a speedometer or a graph, something that the customer can actually see. What logic rules can be programmed, and you need to consider this, and then walk through the decision process. Take the entire process of the dashboard, go through and see exactly from start to finish on what you would possibly be doing right here. The rules that learn the parameters, your boundaries, what you can and can't show on here. Make sure your dashboard does not contain anything that's not for public knowledge. Public meaning if it's plant or whatever else is there. Gathering data is a very important thing that you have to do, and you have to gather data from all different places, and it's able to use to make decisions with this right now. Make sure your sources are legitimate. Make sure they're not Wikipedia-ish. Make sure that they're actually the right data matrix and data decisions that you're able to make. I like to sketch everything out before I do anything, just with a rudimentary picture. A graph, say, hey, I want to show this and this and this, and before you do any of the hard work, make sure that you know what you're doing before you get started on this. Get feedback, your initial feedback, and then take that feedback and allow it to recreate what you're going to be working on. The good or bad, the feedback will help you immensely. Create a dummy dashboard, which means create something that's not live yet, something that you have put online for your use only. Much like these videos that you're watching, I have put into YouTube, and then I have a switch I can click to make them public or private. I usually leave them public. I don't care who watches these. I've got nothing in here to hide, but now if I had customer information, then I certainly would have something to hide, and I would have that. Build the dashboard when that's complete, and these are step by steps. Release the beta knowing that you're going to have work to do. Make corrections, then release it, and then get ready to redo. And this process will go back and forth as many times as necessary in order to make this work. So your dashboards need to be actionable, which means they should not be passive. They should be they should look nice. Don't use any outlandish colors that seem objective. Make sure that you've looked at the colors. Make sure the color scheme is good. If you're colorblind, get someone to help you. Literally get someone to help you with this right now. But you want to have nice in color, but nothing that's objective in nature. You want this to work with everything. Group your information by design criterion. As you all begin creating dashboards, I will ask you, what does this mean and how do you have it grouped, in different questions that I'll answer. Make sure your analysis is displayed, not your raw data. I call this the apples and oranges syndrome. Raw data doesn't mean anything to anyone. Make sure you've analyzed that. You know, it's okay to show that your company made $1 million last quarter, but not if your cost was $1.6 million. You're showing information that raw data that means nothing. So make sure you've analyzed it and you show the resultant figure, not just what you have. Make sure your alerts and business rules are automated. Again, your company that you're supporting with this, whether you're working inside your own organization or doing this for somebody else, your company must be able to understand, or you must be able to list the rules that are out there for the company to understand. Again, this can be accomplished by creating something very rudimentary at first, and make sure it's not put online at first. Show the context that it's in, the judgments and comments, and there effectively. The dashboards that I've worked with and created and used, then either me or my boss can drill down, which means that they can drill down in and see specifics. For instance, if I show that the market, if I'm doing a financial dashboard and I show that the market is weakening, I may want to show where it's weakening. I may want to show some of the problem areas that are causing this to happen. You know, instead of showing the business loss or showing you're in a loss, be able to allow the user to drill down to show what's causing the loss, so that can be a fix. The dashboard is only as good as its programmer, so make sure that you have spent some time to do this right now. Suggest the next steps that need to be done with this right now. Design rules, keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it simple. And don't make something so complex that no one understands it but you. Watch making it pretty. I say that because sometimes you can make a dashboard that looks very nice, but it doesn't do anything. Make sure it's functional. You can always find, if you're like me and have a design, I'm not very good with design. I'm more of a functional person than I am a design person. So I would certainly have someone look over my work before I would get ready to present it to whoever's going to be looking at this. Stay in command of everything. Make sure that you know what exactly is going to be displayed and what's not. Don't put too much. Don't make it so complex that you put so much on one screen that you can't. You have to analyze it. It takes an hour to look at it to understand something. Make sure that it's basic enough. You can have more than one dashboard. You can have a dashboard for different areas and different things. You can put an overall, and then if they want to start drilling down into something, that is fine. Make sure that you know what the reader's nationality is, and make sure you have nothing that is offensive to the reader's nationality. It's tough to do sometimes. Sometimes you can't please everybody, but make sure that you have considered this. One decision, one page, which means a decision that a person's trying to do. For instance, a dashboard for a utility company that has the ability to open and close breakers than large breakers, then you want to put that on one page. Don't put multiple breakers on one page. Be careful what you do. If you do put them on one page, make sure it's large enough so the person wouldn't open the wrong breaker. Keep things simple. American Disabilities Act, make sure that you know that your color scheme, that you read the person that can read pictures. It may have audio, so if the mouse is rolled across, the audio would announce. Make sure that you've conformed to the American Disability Act. Tips on graphical elements would be sorry about that. Tips on graphical elements would cause you to use your client's branding. For instance, if I'm writing a dashboard for U.S. Bank, I would make sure the U.S. Bank logo is on there so it's familiar. Be conservative. You can always add to it. Keep it clean and neat. Let your client understand the functionality, and then if you want to aesthetically bring it up, that's fine. Think clean. No watch the junk on there. Mute the less important. Start with priority that can be seen, obviously. Watch your chart type. I've seen dashboards before that just have the wrong type of chart. If you need a pie chart, use a pie chart. If you're showing the percent of a whole, use a pie chart. If you're showing a comparison, don't use a pie chart. If you're showing comparison, unless it's an obnoxious comparison, 20% to 80% or something, that's one thing. Keep legends, so if you have something on there that someone doesn't understand, you can do this. And watch your text orientation. Make sure that your text is oriented correctly for the readability of this. Drawing process and strategy maps. Keep your software upgraded, and I'm not going to go through and spend much time on this, but keep your software upgraded. Before I use a program, I automatically check to see if it needs an upgrade, especially if I haven't used it for a while. Learn Visio. It's a great program. You all will be expected to use it to do areas that you need. It's free while you're in school. It's just Visio is a cool program to use. And look at drawing toolbars in Word and PowerPoint. I'm not going to demo all this stuff. I had initially, the first class I taught, I demoed PowerPoint, Visio, and drawing toolbars in Word. You all are functional enough and literate enough in this to understand that. So that's what I have for your first video. And actually, the last thing I want to talk about is, do some research on dashboards. Go out and look and see what other companies are using. You can find out what looks nice, what does not look nice. It's okay to look at their dashboards. Can you copy them? Yeah, well, maybe so, but be careful how you do it. You don't want to get into any kind of copyright infringement laws right there. Now, and one last thing I'll say is that towards the end of the class, you may want to watch your email. Sometimes I've been known around the holidays, holidays meaning that's before we get out of class, I've been known to add an extra credit assignment out there, so I usually give a few days to do it, so I would kind of watch my email and I may add an extra assignment out there for you all to look at. So that's all I have. Good day.